Hey, poker people! Thanks for tuning in to day 9 of 66 days in a row of hand reading. Today, as you can see at the top of the screen right there, villain's range today. We are going to be taking on the villain. We're just going to find some random hand like we've done before. So we'll go ahead and get started. First off, we're going to be taking on the villain. We're just going to find. So before we go, this is one of the tools we use, SplitSuit's hand reading templates, and you can see at the bottom of the screen. Just go to splitsuit.com/templates. It's they're free, but you can donate an amount of your choice. I don't know exactly what you call that type of thing, but whatever. I donated $10, so. Yep, he offers them for free though if you'd like, but they're definitely worth using. So, I would give him something if I were you. The second tool that we use, of course, is Flopzilla. And this is great for hand reading practice and narrowing ranges. And of course, the ultimate tool. You can't really do hand reading practice. I guess you could take, write down hands and notes from live action stuff. But, we got to use the Poker Tracker 4. So we have it. We have the fact that we won or lost the hand. Everything is hidden. We don't even know our whole cards, even though we are ranging the opponent. When we're using Flopzilla today, I'm just going to give myself some random hand and then range the villain however I would normally range the villain right there. So let's see. Let's go with button hands, and we can sort this turn. Let's sort it by river action, and let's look for a hand because we're thinking about the villain's range. We want to see them doing some bets and raises, so we might want to see raises and calls for our post-flop action as we're going through some hands here. So we see just lots of checks, raise, bet, but then check the river. Checks. We don't need to see action on every street. Call, check. Don't want to look at that one. Lots of, raise, call, check. That's a possibility. I'll highlight it. Okay, good. Now we've got some river action right here. Let's see here. Raise after some checking. Fold's no good. We want to see a showdown hand where we get to showdown. Call, raise, check. So raise, check, raise, and then call a bet on the river. Call, bet. We bet, and then we call after we raise pre-flop. This seems like a good one. That has a check in it, a check. Oh, call every street. I'll remember that one. I'll remember that one for tomorrow. We can do that for tomorrow. I like these different actions on the different streets. So, we don't even know who the villain's going to be. Okay, well, we already know we're opening from the button. We're going to have position. 879-95861. I didn't even look at the date, so no big deal. Button open. Did we get called by 1 or 2? Okay. So just a 20. He's basically an unknown. We only have 10 hands on the guy. He's played 2 hands so far with 2 raises in there as well. Button open. BB calls. Unknown player. At 2020. Only 10 hands. All right. So the flop's going to come. Okay, cool. So, okay, yeah, and he calls, good. So what is his 2-bet calling range right here? He's an unknown to us, so we're most likely unknown to him. He doesn't know what we're doing. We are in a call position, so we can assume that he's calling a pretty darn wide range right here, just because he's getting the discount for the 1 big blind. Oh, we could even go as wide as 33% here. We could say he's calling 9s and 10s and jacks, actually. We can go a little bit wider. Just because he doesn't know us, that doesn't mean he's necessarily going to put a 3-bet out without some kind of better hand. So right now, as you can see, I'm just assigning a calling range. Let's say that because we're on a steal position, let's just say we're stealing with 10-9 offsuit. Just a random hand right now. So we've got him on a 35% range. Do I want to go any lower? Not with those, not with the queens, not with the offsuit connectors, not with the kings. I'm thinking 3-bets queens are better. Probably calling, probably calling, and calling. Yeah, he's an unknown. Let's put him on a very tight 3-betting range. We just don't know anything about him. So I'm going to stick with this range right here. I mean, it seems pretty wide, 37%. He's an unknown, so it's just kind of tough at this point trying to range an unknown player. But I just got to think about most players at my stakes who's calling out of the big blind. Quite a few of them. Oh, wait, actually, let's take a look at this guy. Oh, wrong button. Call the 2-bet out of the big. He calls 50%. This guy does. Calling the 2-bet, nothing. Oh, this guy right here. Calling the 2-bet out of 43%. Maybe we should increase the 22-16. Calling only 13, but he's a 22-16. These guys are very loose passive. You know, I'm good with this range. I just don't know what to expect really just yet. So if it ends up being wider than this, so be it. Oh, whoops, didn't. 28% and, I'm sorry, 37% and 448 combos. Pretty decent there. Good sized range. If he was wider, let's say like that one guy was at 50%. Yeah, look at that. That is a super wide range right there, which it's possible. All those different suited hands, but we'll keep them slightly more narrow. So at this instance, if we do have the 10-9, we've got a 41% equity. He has all those pocket pairs, way better aces and kings and queens than our 10-high hand. So, but we do have position on the guy. King 9-6, heart, club, club. All right, so on this flop right now, this range, the pre-flop range, hits top pair, open into straight draw better, and combo draws. Oh, whoops, we have a blocking card. Give us 10-9. Okay. He hits that. Whoops. Only 23% of the time. So we could see his calling range doesn't hit this flop super hard. So at this point, I mean, he does have plenty of kings. Like, he has all those suited kings, offsuit kings. He has all the broadways. He's got plenty of gut shot draws and stuff in his range. If we counted gut shots, if he could stay in with gut shots here, he's at 34% of his range hit. But let's take a look at the action. He checks, and then we bet $1.25. Decent sized bet right there, just a standard C bet. Probably trying to get him to fold. I'm guessing I don't have much of anything right now. Oh, but what happens? He doesn't raise, I don't think. He just calls. He check calls. So what is check calling at this time? Sets are check calling just to slow play. What is his stack size? He has $14 behind. At such a small stack size, we're going to have $4. It's less than 4x. It's pretty easy for him to get it in by the river if he does have a killer hand. So he can afford to slow play at least one or two streets. So sets, sets are in 2 pairs. King 6, King 9. Ugly 2 pair, King 6. But yeah, totally possible that he'd slow play that. Doesn't have any overpairs. Top pairs. Is he just check calling top pair hands? I think so. He doesn't have ace king in his range because we said he would have 3-bet. Where'd it go? Top pair. Yeah, those are all check calling right here. Pocket pair below. They could do that for 1 street, not believing that we hit a king right here for sure. Middle pairs. We put him on such a wide calling range pre-flop. I really believe that he could continue at least 1 street with a lot of these middle pairs. Some of them have like backdoor straight draws. He probably has some backdoor flush draws and stuff with the with a couple of hearts. Weak pairs. We've got to start narrowing something. Let's keep those out. Yeah, those are all 6s and stuff. Nah, those are out. Ace high hands. Nah, they're out. We will include some with the flush draws and stuff. So flush draws. Let's keep all of those in. Open ender. Only one open ender with a 7-8 off. Okay, or a 7-8 suited. Sweet. Gut shot time. 7-5. Yeah, I think 7-10, 10-8. Wait, how is 10-8? Oh, obviously, yeah, 4th to 7. Yeah, so that's a gut shot as well. Let's say he's staying in 1 street with the gut shots. 2 card, don't know anything about him. Let's keep him in for 1 street. Oftentimes when I don't know anything about a player, I'll give them a wider flop range or flop continuance range, especially versus a C-bet, just because they don't know me. I don't know them. They probably think I'm bluffing here. So he's continuing with 50% of his range. If we do have the 10-9 for a second pair hand, we have 43% against this range right here. So he has 201 combos in the range, 52% of his pre-flop range. Oh, was it 101? Or 201? Whoops. Great. So as of right now, we've taken out over half of his flop range based on his check call. On on this board. Pretty wet board, lots of gut shots, lots of flush draws, like I said. So what happens here? The 5 of hearts is what happens. Adding to his equity if he did have any of those backdoor flush draws. So at this time, what happens? He checks, and then we bet. So we use about the same sizing, once again, about a 3/4 pot right here. It looks to me like I'm going for value. I probably do have a king, maybe like king 10 or king jack kind of a hand that I am betting to charge him. So let's give us a king jack. And he decides to call. So what hands are check calling on the 5 of hearts, which doesn't, it does complete the 7-8 actually. So the 7-8 just hit a straight. Let's see. So he does have some now straights in his range. With his call, he has $11 behind and an $11 pot. I think he could slow play all of his nut hands right here because it's practically like a pot size shove on the river if he wants to get it all in. And if he does hit a straight, if he does have a straight right here, or even a set, maybe he's waiting for like the flush to not hit or hitting a full house. Or if he does have the straight, he doesn't want the flush to hit before he commits more money. So he could be doing that. He could be slow playing with his made hands, but not nut made hands, or made hands that have the potential to be beat by a river card. Sets. He has the sets. He's slow playing those 2 pair still. Yeah, the 5 completed, but there's no reason for him to think that all of a sudden I have pocket 5s and now I hit a set beating his 2 pair. So he's not worried there. He's slow playing that. By slow play, I mean he could raise right now for value with the 2 pair sets or straights, but he's just check calling, just slow playing. Top pair, I think those can check and call again, not believing that we have anything. I mean, we could have raised pre-flop with queens, jacks, or 10s, and then we double barreled trying to push him off of a draw. So he could be calling with those pocket pair below tops. Yep, jacks and 10s. Middle pair. Well, we'll look at the draws. I don't think we'll keep just middle pairs in for a second street here at 3/4 pot size bet again. So let's keep them out. Weak pairs, no. Ace high, no. Okay. Flush draws are staying in. Flop flush draws, turn flush draws are staying in. No. Open ender. What about these gut shots? What kind of gut shots will stay in? Oh, hey, Charlie West, what is going on? Thank you very much for joining. Charlie West is a pseudonym. I won't say Charlie's real name. But thanks for joining, Charlie. Great to have you. Okay, so where are we at? We're at gut shots here. Well, let's at least take some of them out. Ace 7. You know, I want to keep in pair plus gut shot kind of a stuff for sure. So let's keep in 7-5, 7-6, 8-6, 10-7, no, 9-8, yes, with a pair. Because pair plus gut shots, they do have some equity. They could trip up on us or even 2 pair up, and we don't have the filling card for the straight. So all of these, though, with just a random 7 or 8, I am not going to say that those are going to continue here. Jack 10, Queen 10. No, let's not say those are. We've got some flush draws that they're staying in with, so we'll just add those to the mix right there. So really, I mean, we've done a pretty decent job narrowing again. Hopefully we're correct this time, but we've taken down from 418 combos to 448 combos pre to 119 now, based on the check calls twice on this board and check calling at 3/4 pot sized bet. So one of those questions you always want to ask is, you know, what is my opponent making this play with? And why are they calling so much? Like, would they possibly fold to a full pot size bet here if they only had middle pair with a gut shot? Or are they calling anything? Or does this call at this sizing mean they only have 2 pair or better? 60%, 119 hands. So there's their turn range right there, 119 hands. Pretty good job narrowing. Let's see if what the river brings us. The 6 happens. Oh, wow. Sets just completed, turned into a boat, as well as like 2 pair King 6, which was in Bashi Chuni's range, King 6, so now has a full house, 6 of spades. But the flushes did not get there. Great. So let's see what happens. Wow. What, $8? So what's 795 divided by 1060? exactly 75%. Man, it feels like, I mean, we bet 3/4 pot on 2 streets. Now they're leading into us with 3/4 pot. Given that this is an unknown player, I don't think most players wouldn't try a crazy river bluff like this on a paired card. I mean, I could see it coming if the flushed card came in, but this just paired the board, telling me that Bashi really likes their hand and is not really scared. They're just going for max value. If they wanted to bluff us, they'd probably just shove the full amount in. But this feels like we bet 3/4 on 2 streets. Bashi's betting 3/4 to get value out of us. He or she expects a call here. So if they're expecting a call, they've got a value hand. Yes, quads, yes, fulls, yes, straights. 3 of a kinds now. So if they had a random 6, I guess there's some 6s that stayed in, 8-6 and 7-6. Okay, makes sense. Overpair, oh no, there aren't any overpairs. 2 pairs, no, they're not doing this now. Why? If we had pocket aces, that pair of 6s counterfeited the king 9, so they're not doing that. Top pairs, no way. Played passive on 2 streets, they're not going to suddenly wake up with king 4 suited or anything. So we could take that out of the range right there. So, wow, look at that. So we put Bashi on basically one of the nut hands. It's 3 of a kind or better. And at this point, if I do have just a top pair hand, I should be folding. I should definitely be folding. Maybe, I don't think I should even call. I mean, after seeing this, obviously I shouldn't even be calling with 2 pair. But in the moment, at the time, can Bashi be making a raise with a weaker 2 pair? Let's say I have king 9. Would Bashi be betting like this with king 5? I highly doubt it. Would Bashi be betting like this with a king and a queen? So kings and 6s, 2 pair with a queen kicker? I highly doubt it. I think unless I have a straight or even trip 6s myself or better right now, I don't think I should be. I don't think I should be calling. I think this is a fold. Because I do think I have like a king high hand. Yep. 795. Oh man. 7-8. I was right. No, I wasn't. I was wrong. We had 7-8 suited in the range, not 7-8 offsuit. So pre-flop, I just didn't go wide enough. If I would have added just a couple more offsuit connectors to the range, maybe thereby adding just a couple other hands, a couple other suited hands and stuff. 7-8 off, but we did have 8-7 in, so partially right. But no, this was an unsuccessful hand reading. But it was interesting. I mean, at this point, we knew that Bashi is beating us through this hand reading. Bashi's only playing this way with a great hand that's willing to call 3/4 pot on 2 streets and then bet 3/4 pot. Didn't want to check and then risk not getting any value. That's what that river bet was. Oh, look at that. Top pair, top kicker. So I guarantee I was super happy seeing that king. And then when the 5 came, the only thing that's beating me at that point is the 7-8, other than like a flopped 2 pair trips or something, you know. And then at 6, if I wasn't scared on the 5, I wasn't scared on the 6. But I should have, at the time, thought about it. That 3/4 pot bet on the river just screamed of value. So we successfully narrowed the range to really strong hands, but we didn't start with a wide enough range at the beginning. Alrighty, everybody. Well, that was it for today. What is it? Day 9 of 66 days in a row. Come back tomorrow for day 10 of 66. Charlie West, thank you very much for joining. I'll catch you all on the flip side.